Hi everyone, it's Jay from Mitosu Crafts, and we're an independent Stampin' Up demonstrators based in the UK. Thank you for joining me today for another Creating Kindness Design Team blog and video hub. We are sharing projects with the theme of texture. And a fun way to create extra texture onto your projects is to heat emboss onto the embossing paste. So let's get started. With a pattern party decorative mask, place a strip of washi tape along the middle top. Use the grid paper to align your Sahara sand cardstock measuring at 9 cm by 13.3 cm and place the mask on top, keeping your cardstock straight. Next, we're opening our embossing paste. We have a bit of cling film under the lid to keep it more airtight. This helps the paste to be kept smooth and fresh once it's been opened. So we're using the palette knives, which comes in set of 3 on page 201 in the annual catalog. So I use this long elongated knife, and I tend to use the back to spread onto the mask. I'm only applying a little bit on the bottom left and bottom right, top right corner, and just making sure that when you're scraping the mask, you have the palette knife flat on the mask and just swiping it across. What's great about the brick wall mask is that the open space aren't that big, so it's quite forgiving for when you need to go over it a few times. Once you are happy with the applied paste, make sure that you clean up any excess paste from the side of the pot and push it back into the pot with the rest of the paste. This just prevents the paste from getting crusty on the outer edge. Also, make sure that you reapply the cling film to keep it more secure and airtight. As this is a quick drying embossing paste, make sure that you do have a pan of warm soapy water on your side to quickly put in the palette knife and mask to soak as soon as you finish embossing. This just helps for an easier cleanup afterwards. So gently lift off the mask away from your cardstock, and we can then start to apply the copper Stampin' Emboss powder on top of the paste. Because it is still wet, it will help the powder to stick onto the embossing paste. Any excess that we don't want on the cardstock, we can just get rid of by flicking at the back of the cardstock. Do this gently, and once you're happy, put it aside to dry. Whilst the paste is drying, we can go ahead and do some of the elements for the card. So use smoky slate and stamp the Daisy from the Daisy Delight photopolymer stamp set on Whisper White card. Stamp that twice. Make sure that you re-ink the stamp before doing the second stamping. And then we will use the Daisy Punch, which comes as a bundle with the Daisy Delight stamp set. So align that by looking at the back of the punch and then pinching it a little bit, and once you know that it's in place, fully press down on the bottom of the punch. So we will shape for added texture. Here I've used the paper snips to press down in the middle of each petals. You can also achieve this using the paper piercing tool and the piercing mat or a bone folder. Do this for both daisies, and then we can use the palm of our hands and our knuckle to shape the middle. To glue, I am just using multi-purpose liquid glue and then off-centered to create a nice full petal flower. Next, we have a strip of smoky slate cardstock at 1.5 centimeters by 8 centimeters, and we are stamping the sentiment from Thankful Thoughts in Memento Black ink pad. Once all of these have been done, it should have been enough time for the embossing paste to have dried. Switch on your heat tool to make sure that it's warmed up before aiming it at your project. Also, keep the heat tool aimed at one area until the embossing powder has turned glossy. This helps me to make sure that all areas have been embossed properly without missing any spot. We can then adhere it on a basic gray A5 card base using multi-purpose liquid glue. Due to the embossing paste and embossing powder, the Sahara Sun cardstock has warped a little bit, so this time I've applied a bit more multi-purpose liquid glue than usual. Once this is adhered off-centered, I put this under a heavy book for a couple of minutes just to keep it nice and flat whilst I carry on getting the other elements for this project ready, which are the burlap ribbon at 11 centimeters, vellum at 2.5 centimeters and 10.5 centimeters, and the stamped sentiment. When the card is flat, we can finish off by adhering these final elements onto the front of the card. So with the vellum, I've just added small dots of multi-purpose liquid glue and stuck that about 3 centimeters from the bottom of the card. Next, we have the burlap ribbon, which I am adhering by using tear and tape on the vellum, and then take off the backing, then place the burlap ribbon on top. With the sentiment, I added mini Stampin' Dimensional on the top of the smoky slate card, as the bottom half will be kept in place with the burlap ribbon at the bottom. Next, I'm just adding the punched daisies with the multi-purpose liquid glue and making sure that the petals doesn't hide the sentiment. And finally, to add another texture to the project, I'm using the gold faceted gems for the center of the daisy. And there you go, that is the double embossed card for the Creating Kindness Design Team blog and video hub. Please check out the description below for more links to the Creating Kindness Design Team members' video tutorials for this hub. You will also find links to Mitosu Crafts blog, an online shop where you can purchase current Stampin' Up products. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time, bye!